Hey guys, Todd here with Great Escape Farms. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my 6-year food forest. It was put in 2015. This is 2021, so it's in its 6th year, getting ready to enter its 7th year. And it has really blown up a lot this last year because I managed to fence the deer out. So I'll show you that when I get up to that point. Also in the background, you'll hear cicada brood X or brood 10, all the noise. So that's what that whining, constant droning noise is. So just to get that one out of the way. And with that, let me go ahead and start the food forest tour here. So the very first plant here is a Russian quince or quince. And you can see a Russian variety. There's several varieties. This one is a Russian variety. And I have quite a few fruit on here, so it's doing pretty good this year. In this area, I've had issues with the branches dying back, the tips dying back, but this past year it did pretty good, and I have a good bit of fruit on it, so doing quite well. Down here is my mint patch. I have all kinds of primarily spearmint and peppermint in here. And this big bad boy right in front of me here is a Nova elderberry. I have quite a few, let's see, I have 4 different varieties of elderberry in this food forest. And this is one of our cornus moss. Let me back up, see if I can show you how big that is. So that is about 12 foot tall now. And on it, last year I had a couple of fruit. This year it is just loaded with a ton of fruit. So that'll be interesting. I was shooting video and trying to get seeds and stuff like that last year from it, so I didn't get to eat a whole lot. This year I'm going to get to eat a lot of these. And there's another one right back here. Actually, we'll head to that one next if I can duck around this elderberry coming in on me. So here's the other cornus moss. Not quite as tall. This one's about 10 foot tall, but it still has a fair number of fruit on it in here in different spots. And again, we're still in the mint patch here. And this is an Allegheny pawpaw. And I actually, let me see if I can find it in here. I actually have fruit on this year. There it is. It's underneath. Hopefully you can see that in there, but that is one of my fruit, and there's a couple others scattered throughout in here, and I have fruit on several of the other pawpaws because they cross-pollinated this year, and they did a wonderful job. Hopefully I end up getting a couple of fruit out of these. It's not going to be a ton of them. And let's see, this, I think this is a gumi that's come up. Not as many stickers as I think. I need to identify that. Anyhow, it looks like a nitrogen fixer, probably in the Aleagnus family, autumn olive or gumi. I think gumi though. And this was a Susquehanna. You can see it's kind of dying back here. And part of the issue is I have a bunch of suckers coming out below the graft there. So I think it's too late. I don't know that I'll be able to save this, but we'll see. The way I would save that is cut out the suckers and see if I can get the sap flowing back up to the main plant where it was grafted itself, but don't know that I'll be able to save that. This is a Nanking cherry, and I don't think I have any fruit on this one. I do have a couple of fruit on the ones behind me. And this was a ravaged raspberry. So this has been in here for probably 4 or 5 years, and the deer have absolutely torn it apart. So this year it's coming up. I see shoots coming up all around the place. Again, deer have been locked out, and as a matter of fact, this is a good place to talk about this. I've added an fence extension. So I had a 4-foot high fence. I extended it up to 8 foot here, and that is keeping the deer out, doing a wonderful job of doing it. So I just haven't got around to taking all the individual posts and individual fences going around the plants out yet, but I will be doing that. And you can see a lot of my plants are done that way. And while I'm talking about deer prevention, you'll hopefully see there's a wire going here. I had that hooked up to electric fence, and I kind of zigzagged every 4 or 5 foot in there, and that managed to keep the deer out of the inside of the food forest up here, and only in the outer area where I had certain things did I individually fence them. So This is a mulberry here, and it is a name that's like Cucosa or something like that. And this one has a ton of fruit. Again, deer have torn this one up in the past, even with the fence here. So this year I hope to get some fruit out of this. Matter of fact, I see some back there that are just starting to darken up. So hopefully we'll be getting some soon. Let's see, in the back here is an elderberry. I'd have to look at my sheet here and see which elderberries these guys are. And there is something flowering. Oh, okay. I don't know if you see the white flowers back here. That is a wild rose. And that I need to take care of because that thing will just go crazy in here and overtake everything. This is a Nanking cherry in front of me. I have quite a few Nanking cherries. You can see the little red cherries on there. They don't look the greatest. So I do have other plants that have much better Nanking cherries on them throughout the area. So I'll let the birds have those. You can see right here, that's a big patch of comfrey. This is another big patch of comfrey. And growing in the midst of it all, I have grapes, and you can see there's a ton of grapes in here that are just about to flower. And actually, I thought I saw some, yeah, there's some right down here. You can see these are just flowering right now. So hopefully I get a good bit of fruit out of that. It's a self-fertile variety, plus I have other grapevines around, so hopefully we'll get some good fruit out of that. I have 3 different varieties of thornless blackberries in here. And again, I'd have to look at my map and see which ones they are. But you can see here's a bunch of fruit right here. And I still have more flowers coming. So a lot of raspberries in here coming up. In the back, the heart-shaped leaves there, I did not plant those. Those kind of were dropped off by some birds. Those are eastern redbud. And eastern redbud is said to be a nitrogen fixer. So I'll be cutting some of those back, and by doing so, releasing nitrogen into the soil. I'll keep some because they are pretty, but they can also become invasive and go kind of wild on you there. This is an elderberry right here, and this one is flowering a little bit early. This is a York elderberry. And I have some other elderberries. I think John should be flowering here soon, which would cross-pollinate with it. And down at the bottom here, I have some chives. So I have garlic and onion chives, and I'm not sure which one is which. Again, I'd have to consult the map and see what's going on there. This is a McKinsey aronia. I think this might be the only McKinsey aronia on property. I have Nero and Viking, mostly Viking, but this is my McKinsey. And let's walk around. I see the grapes all the way up to the top there on that section. And all that noise, whoops, guy flew right at me. I was going to show you a cicada, but he dive-bombed me. That plant right there, the herbaceous one, is a lemon balm. And let's see, I have I forget the name of it. That is a Carmen Jewel bush cherry right back there. I see a couple cherries on it, rather small. And this is another cornelian cherry, and I see some fruit on that. So ton of cornelian cherry coming this year. I have some wild sumac that is coming up. I did a plant ID on it. It said that it was common sumac. I think it's staghorn. I'm not sure if those are the same thing. I'll have to look at that. But the buds on top you can make lemonade out of. It is not poison sumac. Let's see, I have some various different types of raspberries in here as well. So this is one variety. Again, I'd have to look and see which one it is. A lot of lemon balm growing in here, which is a wonderful thing. I have some vetch. That's what all this is in here. Vetch is a nitrogen fixer. I put it in years ago, and it seems to keep coming back. By the way, while I'm at it, let me show you this. This is a daikon radish. So I put these in when I put the food forest in 2016. I've not done it since, and they've just been self-seeding. So I put that in to kind of loosen up the ground and all. The tap roots go way, way down in the ground, and it's just self-seeding and just keeps coming back every year. In the back, I have some autumn olive that just popped up. I have some mulberry back there. I have some more elderberry back there. You can see right here these onion looking things. These are Egyptian walking onions, and the tops of those, I'm actually going to pull the tops off. I'm going to move those to my garden area. And a great way to have onions. Those things, again, I just put them in here years ago and just left them be, and they've been doing great. This is Viking Aronia here, and this one is a sand cherry, and I don't think there's any cherries on that. Oh, yeah, I do see one right there. Not a ton of cherries on this one, though. And let's see. Oh, this is, I think it's called Mountain Mint. So a ton of mountain mint in here, and it doesn't go crazy like the other mint. So I've left this in here. I put in 6 years ago, I put in a little cup, like 4 inches, and it's probably about 4 foot by 3 foot right now. So regular mint would have been overtaken this whole area here. So the mountain mint it's nice. It grows high. It attracts tons of beneficial insects when it's flowering, and it just doesn't spread as much as the other types of mint does. So there is another cornelian cherry back there. And this great big thing right here is a mulberry, and you can see it has tons and tons and tons of fruit on it. Actually, I see some black ones up there, so it's actually starting to ripen. So I'm going to have to grab some of those. I have some more, 2 different varieties right here. So that one has a white flower, and this one has kind of a purple flower. I'd have to look at my chart and see which one is which, but a lot of different blackberries in here. And then we have elderberry, and again, I'd have to look at my sheet. These are all different varieties of elderberry. I have Johns, Adams, Nova, and York elderberry in this section. And right here you can see this dead looking thing. Well, this was a Rosa rugosa. It has great big rose hips, and I thought that it had passed or it had completely died, but I see a baby shoot coming up right here, so it is still alive. I probably need to move it out and get it a little more sunshine. Now it is all of a sudden shaded in this area. This is another Nanking cherry, and this one is going to have much larger fruit on it. It hasn't ripened yet. Actually, there's one back here that is just about ripe. And you can see it has a lot of fruit on it. And another Viking Aronia here. A lot of raspberries in here. And let's see, this one, and there's a couple others in here. These are fiddlehead ferns. And down here I have jewelweed, and this is a fix to poison ivy, and I just happen to have poison ivy right now, so I've been grabbing leaves of this, crushing it up and rubbing it on, and it kind of makes the itch go away for a little while. And let's see, I have more Aronia in here. I think this is Texas Star Quince. It has never flowered it flowers, but it has never fruited for me. So I think it may need to cross-pollinate to do anything. This is a plum tree, and I have a whole mess of plums here, and that is a different variety that was put close to it to cross-pollinate. And back behind I have another Aronia and some more. Is this lemon balm? I think it is. Yeah, lemon balm smells like lemon pledge. I have a Rose of Sharon right there, that taller one. It will eventually get big, and the flowers on it are edible. And let's see, let's keep going on our journey here. Again, more elderberry in here. More lemon balm. And I have there's one, and here is another. I have 2 chestnuts right here, and I have a couple other chestnuts in there, so they have not started nutting or fruiting yet, whatever you call that, but they should soon. And I need to get around these wood piles, and I'm going to take you up a path over there, so let me put this on pause real quick. Okay, I am on the backside now. You'll notice there's a path going up here that is mulch. I've been in the process of mulching that. My wife and I and the dogs walk the perimeter of the grounds every day, and this area was growing up too quick, so we're just putting some mulch down. It'll help keep the food forest nice and help keep some of the stuff away from us while we're walking. So on the right hand side over here, we have a number of oak trees, and we also have black walnut over there. So the black walnut is fruiting and the oak trees are dropping acorns. So that is fodder for some of the animals around. We have a lot of squirrels and chipmunks and stuff, and the black walnuts are edible by people. They also have juglun, which is an issue for stuff growing under it. However, just through trial and error, we figured out what grows under it, and that stuff grows great. Elderberry is an example. It doesn't seem to care what it grows under. And other things have died, and we just we replace it and we move it elsewhere, not underneath of a black walnut. Let's go ahead and start back here. So right here we have some yarrow, and this stuff kind of just grows wild all around here. And this would be a wineberry, which is kind of like a cross between a blackberry and a raspberry, if you would, but it's its own little species and has a wonderful taste to it. A lot of yarrow in here, you can see. We already talked about the chestnuts here. And I have a number of wild blackberries in here that are thorned, and there are a lot of flowers this year, so we'll see how they fruit. And here's a couple of flowers right here. So if they don't fruit well, I'm going to come in with a pair of gloves and tear them out, because they are quite prolific in here. And this is a black locust here, so that one is a nitrogen fixer, so we let it grow up a little and then we trim it back, and it puts nitrogen in the soil, which is nice, especially with the fruit trees here. And let's see, another black walnut black locust in here. And this is a honey locust tree, a thornless honey locust. So I need to really get to coppicing it back a little to, again, it's a nitrogen fixer, just to drop some nitrogen off the soil so it doesn't get too crazy on me and shade stuff out here. And another comfrey plant here. I am not sure if this one, I'll have to check the chart and see if this is a wild raspberry or a planted raspberry. So I'm almost thinking wild, just based on the thorns there, looking at it, but it has a lot of fruit on it, so I may leave that one. And this is a medicinal known as mother's wort. And the tour is just about over here. We've just about done a complete loop. We started right up here, just on the other side of those pine trees. Last thing I want to show you is this is a serviceberry right here with some serviceberry fruit on it. Thought I had some here ready to go, just about right there. So excited about that. My daughter and I went out this year and walked through the woods and discovered that there's a ton of serviceberry around here, so plenty to cross-pollinate this with. And number of miscellaneous sand cherries and things in here, but really that's about it. So that is our tour of 2021 of the food forest. Thank you very much for your time and tuning in. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on our Odyssey channel, and check out greatescapefarms.com. Thank you very much and have a great day.